Welcome. Today we're diving into the mysterious and often frustrating world of narcissists, particularly why they suddenly stop contacting you. Have you ever been in a relationship where everything seemed intense and exhilarating, only for that person to vanish out of the blue? It feels like you've been left dangling, and you can't help but wonder what went wrong. If you've been through this, it's possible that the person you're dealing with is a narcissist. We're going to explore why they behave this way, the psychological mechanisms behind their silence, and most importantly, how you can respond when they disappear. Stick around because understanding this could change the way you handle such relationships forever. Before we jump into the discussion, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this video if it's helpful, and share it with anyone who might need to hear this message. Let's get started. Imagine you're in the middle of what seemed like a promising connection, and suddenly, without warning, they stop contacting you. You're left in a haze of confusion, and you replay every interaction in your mind, trying to pinpoint where it went wrong. This sudden silence can feel like a rejection or a punishment, but in the world of narcissists, it's often part of a larger pattern of manipulation. Narcissists thrive on control, and their silence is a powerful tool in their arsenal. It's a tactic that allows them to regain control of a situation that, in their eyes, may have started to drift out of their grasp. Narcissists are experts at creating an aura of charm and charisma, making you feel like you're the most important person in their life, until they're no longer interested. This is not because of anything you did, but because, in their mind, they've already achieved what they wanted from you, or they feel they no longer have the upper hand. At the beginning of the relationship, they shower you with attention, a phase often referred to as love bombing. They make you feel special, valued, and seen. But as quickly as they elevate you, they can pull the rug from under your feet, leaving you wondering if it was all an illusion. So why do narcissists use this sudden withdrawal tactic? Well, it's often a power play. They want to see how much control they have over you. If they sense that you've become emotionally invested, their sudden disappearance is a way to make you chase them. It feeds their ego to know that you're left in limbo, thinking about them, worrying about what went wrong. This gives them a sense of superiority, of being desired, without having to put in any additional effort. It's a cruel game, but for narcissists, it's all about maintaining their sense of dominance. But here's the kicker. Narcissists often return after a period of silence, expecting that you'll be there, waiting for them. This is because they perceive relationships as a series of transactions, not as mutual connections. In their minds, they might assume that the time apart will make you desperate for their attention again, ready to welcome them back with open arms. This reappearance can feel like a breath of relief, but it's just another phase of their manipulation cycle, what some call the hoovering stage, where they suck you back into their orbit. Now, how should you respond when a narcissist suddenly stops contacting you? The first instinct might be to reach out, to ask them why they've gone silent, or to seek closure. However, this is precisely the reaction they're hoping for. It reinforces their belief that they have control over you. Instead, one of the most effective ways to deal with their silence is to not react at all. As challenging as it might be, maintaining your composure and not giving them the satisfaction of a reaction is key. It sends a message that you won't be swayed by their games, and it puts the power back in your hands. You might feel tempted to confront them, to demand an explanation for their behavior. But it's crucial to understand that narcissists don't think like most people. They're not likely to offer a heartfelt apology or acknowledge any wrongdoing. In fact, they may twist your confrontation into evidence that you're too emotional or overreacting. This tactic, known as gaslighting, is a way for them to deflect responsibility and make you doubt your own feelings. By staying calm and focusing on your own well-being instead of seeking answers from them, you can protect yourself from further emotional harm. Dealing with the silence of a narcissist can feel isolating and deeply unsettling. It's natural to question your own worth and to feel like you weren't enough. But remember, their behavior says more about them than it does about you. Narcissists often have a fragile sense of self, hidden beneath layers of arrogance and self-importance. Their need for control and validation is a reflection of their own insecurity, not a measure of your value. Understanding this can be the first step toward breaking free from their influence. When a narcissist eventually reaches out again after their period of silence, it can be tempting to fall back into old patterns. They might come back with charm and flattery, acting as if nothing ever happened. But this is just part of the cycle, a cycle that will continue as long as you allow it. If you recognize this pattern, it's crucial to set boundaries. Let them know that you won't tolerate their disappearing acts. And if they don't respect those boundaries, it may be time to walk away for good. It's important to remind yourself that you have the power to break this cycle. You don't have to be at the mercy of their whims. Surround yourself with people who genuinely care about your well-being and who value you for who you are, not for what you can give them. Engaging in self-care, whether it's therapy, hobbies, or spending time with loved ones, can help you rebuild your sense of self-worth outside of the narcissist's influence. When you start focusing on yourself, you'll find that their games hold less power over you. Narcissists are often drawn to empathetic, caring individuals, people who see the good in others and who are willing to give second chances. If this sounds like you, it's important to remember that while empathy is a strength, it shouldn't come at the expense of your own mental health. Your kindness is a gift, but it's one that should be given to those who respect and value it. By recognizing the signs of narcissistic behavior and understanding their tactics, you can protect yourself from emotional manipulation and create healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Thank you for sticking with me through this discussion. I hope this insight helps you understand why a narcissist might suddenly stop contacting you and how to handle it when they do. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Remember, you're not alone in dealing with this, and there is a way forward. Take care, and see you in the next video.
Hey, people who support empowering yourself. You may be wondering what narcissists do when you finally get away from them. It's not just about returning your power when you break up with a narcissist. It's also about realizing how it will affect them. Leave a comment below if you've ever taken steps to get your life back from bad situations. Let's inspire each other. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon. We're going to talk about the mental, emotional, and physical effects on a narcissist when you shut yourself off from their life today. There is more to this path than just your own healing. It has to do with figuring out how things work and how narcissists react when they lose their source of approval. Stay tuned as we talk about these lessons and how walking away can change your life. Share, like, and encourage each other as we work to get our power and freedom back. 1. Knowing how ego reinforcement works. To understand what happens when you break up with someone who is focused on themselves, you need to understand the idea of ego reward. Ego reinforcement means giving egocentric people constant praise, respect, and attention in order to keep up their inflated sense of self-worth and fragile sense of importance. The people in their group give them this support, and they manipulate and influence others to make sure they get a steady flow of attention and admiration. When someone who gives ego-boosting sources, like a love partner, close friend, or family member, leaves, it can be very upsetting for the egocentric person. 2. The first response of the self-centered person. A. Surprise and decline. When you leave an egocentric person for the first time, they usually respond with surprise and denial. People who are egocentric have an inflated sense of how important they are and think they are necessary. People can't understand why someone would leave them, which can lead to a state of denial. They might not want to believe that the relationship is over and act like nothing has changed, trying to keep things the same. B. Outburst and fury. These people often lose it when they have to face reality and react with rants and anger. They are reacting this way because they can't change the situation and they are very afraid of being left alone. The egocentric person's anger can show up in many ways, such as verbal attacks, threats, or attempts to hurt your image. This stage is marked by the egocentric person's desperate efforts to regain control and dominance. C. Tries to get involved again. People who are focused on themselves use re-engagement to get their victims back into the relationship. This could be done through manipulation, claims to change, or even acting like you're weak when you're not. The egocentric person may send you a lot of texts, call you a lot, or show up at your house without warning to try to get you to fall back into their cycle of manipulation. People re-engage because they want to find a source of encouragement and feel in charge again. 3. The effects on a person's mind and feelings when they are self-centered.
Erster Ego-Schock.
When a main source of ego support leaves, it can cause a deep ego shock. This word refers to the intense emotional pain and sensitivity that egocentric people feel when their self-image and sense of self-worth are threatened. The shock can make people feel ashamed, inadequate, and deeply uneasy. For someone who is egotistical, this shock is often too much to handle, and they act defensively to protect their low self-esteem. B. Need for alternative reinforcement right away. When egocentric people experience an ego shock, they immediately look for other sources of support. To fill the void left by your departure, they may quickly move on to a new relationship, friendship, or business connection. This sense of urgency can make the egocentric person act in dangerous and rash ways as they try to regain their sense of importance and power. But new links might not give the same amount of validation, which can cause a cycle of discontent and more instability. C. Sadness and grief. People who are egocentric are often seen as sure of themselves and confident, but when their support is taken away, they can have big psychological problems. When an egocentric person loses a key source of reinforcement, they may feel hopeless and scared as they deal with feelings of not being good enough and being ignored. Psychological problems like these are often made worse by the egotistical person's unwillingness to get help or admit they are weak. 4. What happens in real life for an egocentric person? A. Being alone. One of the practical effects of your leaving is that the egocentric person may gradually become alone. As people notice how controlling and manipulative they are, they may find it harder to keep relationships going. People they know and family members may pull away, leaving the selfish person without a reliable support system. Isolation can make their mental problems worse and make them need other sources of support even more. B. Setbacks in your job. People who are egocentric often use their charm and ability to manipulate others to move up in their careers and keep business relationships going. On the other hand, when things go wrong in their personal life, it can affect their work. The selfish person may act erratically, which could cause problems with co-workers, subordinates, or bosses. This could hurt their work by getting them fired or hurting their reputation in their field. C. Problems with the law and money. Sometimes, breaking up with a selfish person can lead to legal and financial problems. If the relationship included shared money, assets, or business interests, the egocentric person might get angry and try to make the separation process harder or impossible. There may be legal conflicts, which can put a strain on both parties' finances and cause long-lasting stress. 5. Effects on the egoistic person over time. A. Unpredictability that doesn't go away. If an egoistic person doesn't have a solid source of ego reinforcement, their personal and professional life may become unpredictable over time. If they can't make strong, long-lasting bonds, it can lead to a cycle of short-lived friendships and ongoing conflict. This lack of dependability makes their mental and emotional fights worse, creating a cycle of unhappiness and unrest. B. Falling position in society. Egoistic people may lose their social standing over time because of the way they act. As their sneaky moves become more clear to people around them, they might lose the respect and admiration they once had. The drop in their social status can be very hard on their ego and make them feel even more inadequate and unsafe. C. Disagreement with change. When someone is egoistic, they don't want to admit their flaws or work on changing, which is one of the saddest things about it. Their strong need for approval and control often keeps them from reflecting on their problems or getting professional help. Because of this, they can't break out of their harmful patterns and are stuck in a cycle of manipulation and mental turmoil. 6. Your journey of healing and strengthening. It's important to focus on your journey of healing and strength, even though the egoistic person will face big problems after you leave. As you move forward, here are some things to think about. A. Make self-care a priority. When getting over a selfish relationship, It's important to put yourself first. This includes taking care of your body by eating well, working out, and getting enough sleep, taking care of your emotions by going to therapy, writing in a journal and practicing mindfulness, and caring for your social life by spending time with friends and family who are there for you. B. Give yourself limits. Setting and sticking to limits is a key part of protecting yourself from more manipulation. To do this, you need to stop talking to the egoistic person and be firm in your choice to leave. Setting limits helps protect your independence and keeps the self-centered person from coming back into your life. C. Get help from professionals. Working together with a therapist who knows how to help people recover from egotistical abuse can be very helpful. Therapy can help you process your experiences, rebuild your sense of self-worth, and come up with strong ways to deal with problems. D. Get in touch with your uniqueness. Having relationships based on egotism can make you feel less like yourself. Spend some time getting back in touch with your interests, values, and goals. Do the things that make you happy and satisfied, and surround yourself with people who value and respect you. E. Learn new things. Continuing to learn about selfish behavior and its effects gives you the power to spot warning signs and keep yourself safe in the future. Being aware is a powerful tool that can stop further abuse and trickery. F. Join networks of support. Making connections with other people who have been abused by egotists can help you feel better. Support groups, both online and off, can be very helpful because they bring people together and help them understand what they're going through. Thanks for visiting us today as we talked about what happens after you leave a narcissist's control. Cutting ties with a narcissist is a brave and life-changing step forward the road. The narcissist may be having problems on the inside after losing their main source of approval, but you need to focus on your own path to healing and strength. It's important to take advantage of the chance to rediscover your real self, set clear boundaries, and build a life full of supportive relationships, self-respect, and emotional strength.